Hi, Colleen here. I just wanted to share this little box with you. It holds 10 cards and envelopes. This one here is made in Chelsea Gardens. The stamping is done using this beautiful Chelsea Gardens stamp set for scrapbooking. I really love the large flowers and the bigger leaves in it. And the way I've made them is I have stamped them in Glacier and then sponged around the centre with Lagoon. And the leaves are done with Sweet Leaf and the centre's done with Pewter. I've just tied up this one with the string, with the grey twine. The top is Glacier and the bottom is linen cardstock. So I'll just get on and show you how to make up this little box today. We're going to be making this one using the linen cardstock and the bashful paper. We're also going to be using Gimme Some Sugar. That's this paper pack here, which I think is just beautiful. I'll give you a quick squiz at it in my book, but I will put it up so you can see it. I think it's just an adorable, beautiful paper pack. There's so much in it. It's such a versatile pack. It's this one here. So we're using this paper, but there's so many different things in here you could use. It's just a really lovely paper, this one. I really particularly like this tiny little sweet flower. I think that's really wonderful for little girls. And with that one there is the Chelsea Gardens. Isn't it just lovely? I really love this paper. I think it's just beautiful. So that's the one we'll be using today, is the Gimme Some Sugar. And we will get started. Now, the base measures 11 3/4 inches long by 8.5 inches wide. Now we're going to score on the 11 3/4 inch side at 3/4 of an inch and 5 1/4. Now I'm going to turn to the other end and repeat this step. And 5 1/4. That gives me 1 1/4 inches in here. We'll turn here and we'll go 1 1/4 inches down, and we're going to turn again and go 1 1/4 inches. So that's our box base done. Now we're going to go to the lid. Now this one here measures 1, it measures 5 and 5/16. Now the 1/16 of an inch is just on your trimmer. It is like the tiny little mark that fits in between here. So that's a 15th of it, a 5/16 of an inch. It's really hard to remember. And then the length of it is 10 1/16 of an inch long. So 10 1/16 and 5 5/16. So that's all you need to remember. Then you're going to score that at 3/4 of an inch and 2 inches on all 4 sides. And that's our lid done. So I'll pop that to the side. And we'll get on with burnishing and folding all our card, or our base. Now I've chosen to have the dark side out. If you prefer, you could have the light side out. It's purely up to you. Right, now the way I'm going to cut this here, I've actually done a diagram here. I've got one more small mistake, so please forgive me. It's that bit there, just ignore that line there. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut out these 2 sections here, and then we're going to cut in here and then down on this end here, on this side. So we're going to cut down there, and we're going to notch everything. So we'll get started on that. I'll show you that in a minute. So we'll just remove, so we'll notch at the same time and remove these 2 ends. So this becomes the back of the box. got inks open here. I should have them shut on just as lightly to put the box into it. Now we're going to cut across here on both sides. So we've got a flat edge, and then we're just going to wedge that in. So just take out a little notch, and then this end here we're going to cut a V shape out. We're cutting the whole lot of the score line out there, and then we're just going to notch that in, so it's going to look like that. So we'll do that again. So on the, this is the front of the box. Now you'll understand why we'll do that in a minute, but just at the moment we'll finish cutting it up. Can't get that in. There we are. And wedge it out. So there's our box. Just like that. So I'll bring that back in. So you can see we've taken those two ends out and notched it. We've notched these sections here on both sides, and then we've just notched in here. So we've taken that bit out, and then we've wedged off the ends. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add adhesive. Now this is the back and this is the front. So we're going to add adhesive down the score line and onto the little one. So it's on the front of the, it's on the top side of the box, and we're going to do these two panels here. I'll just turn it around so I can get the other one. So they're done. Now I'm just going to flip it over, and on the inside we're going to run adhesive along all of these little panels. So we've run it right along here and right along this one on the inside, and on the outside we've run it down here and onto this panel, down here and onto this panel, and this is the back. So now we'll start putting it together, because what I want to do is, instead of having this tucked on the inside, I want it tucked to the outside. So you lay that piece in and you're going to marry that up. So it'll sit like that. And then you're going to bring this piece over and line it up. And that will make the side of your box. And I've got a bit of adhesive stuck to it there. Actually, I've got quite a bit, I can feel it. It's alright, it rubs off. So the same thing again. Let me move that one out the way. So line that up at the base and fold that up. Then line this up and fold it over and fold it in. I've got a bit much adhesive, but live with that. Now we're going to fold the two end pieces in so that that will seal there, and then the front and the back. And then we're going to just use our bone folder to make that sit. Oh, I can see a bit of adhesive there. And that is our box made, just like that, with a reinforced top, a full bottom so that nothing can fall through, and that's it. Now we'll do the lid. Now the lid we'll burnish and fold. So it's all done. So when we cut the lid out, I want it to look like this. So you can see, I want these two flaps so that they go into the box and not onto the end. So they're going to go inside, and then these bits just fold in, and then they fold in under. That gives stability to the lid. So we'll just do that now. So we're just going to cut straight up on all of these sides. So we're essentially cutting out. We're going to wedge in here. So we're moving the square and the rectangle on that side. We're going to cut off the rectangle there. We're going to notch in this side, and then we're going to wedge these sections out, just so that the box folds, the lid folds better. So that's what we're going to do on all the ends. So I'll get on with it. Oh, piece of glue sticking to everything. Last one. Right, so that's all those pieces cut away. So that is what the box will look like. The lid, I should say. So now we're going to attach our little paper panels. Our 1-inch ones will go down on either end. Crikey's, get on straight up, Bill. This would make a lovely gift for somebody, filled up with cards. Sometimes you can make so many cards you have an overabundance of them, so it would make a really nice gift to give to someone. Oh, that one's not real good. I've got it over too far. That's it. So I'll give this to my mum for Mother's Day, I think. Now we're just going to add adhesive onto our little flaps. So you're doing that on the top side. And then I'll flip it over and onto here. I'm just going to run some adhesive along the edges of these, because they're the bits that will just fold over on the inside. So I can fold the end ones over now, because they don't need to secure anything, but these ends here are going to secure the flap. So we'll bring that up and we'll line him up and stick him down, marry him up with that one and this one. Oh, and I've got adhesive again. That's what I love about this one. You just wipe it and it just all comes off, and yet it stays stuck down. It's just really great adhesive, this one. Right, so tuck that in, tuck that in. Now burnish those down so that makes them stick. fingers crossed that should just fit nicely onto the top of my box. Yes, it does. So that fits on nicely. So that just comes on and off. And, oh gosh, I've got adhesive everywhere. Yes, I'll stick it to the table. Right, now, for the flowers, I had a piece of paper. Oh, here it is. I just want to stamp some out for you just to see. I've already cut them already because you don't need to see me do that. It's like watching grass grow. But the inks that I've chosen to use are Blossom, Tangerine, Bashful, because I find that these three colours are very similar. Well, I know that Blossom and the Bashful make the flowers shade up, and then I'm also using Juniper for the leaves because that's what colour the leaves are in this paper here. That's Juniper. So I'll just show you here. When I was making up, I was trying to work out which was the best colour combination for that particular paper. I stamped them and I wrote down what each one was, and the one I liked the best was the Bashful and the Blossom, so that's the one I'm going to go with the Tangerine centre. So we will do that now. So you just take your large flower. Now when I put them on, there's a line on the block, and I always put them on so that they all line up, and the same goes for the little centre too. That's got the line there at the bottom of the block. I don't know if you can see that, but that's lined up so it will automatically fit into the middle of the flower. So we'll stamp that in, Bashful, and then I'm taking a dauber, well, a piece of sponge I should say, and into the Blossom, and then I'm just going to just gently tap around the centre there. I found that with the dauber it actually gave me a blunt line. This here actually blends in more. So then I will stamp that on. And it gives me that effect, which I thought was rather lovely. A darker centre with a lighter outside. And then when I take the flower centre, now to excuse my head for a minute so I can get it in the right spot, and put that in the middle. See how that just makes everything pop? It's sort of like all the colours blend really well with this one. So the other flower was the one that's to the side. So the same deal. Ink it up in the Bashful. Dauber it. Well, not daubering, we'll sponge it really in the Blossom. And then stamp it onto the... And there it is. I think it's just lovely. I'll do a second one of these because I really love this one. I think this one's my favourite flower out of both of them. Oh, I should have shown... I'll show you another way of doing it too. When I did the other box... There we are. So that's two of them. But you can also do it this way. So ink it up. And then dauber. But go around the edge of the flower. And that will give you a pale centre with a darker outline. And when it dries, it all blends together. It looks really beautiful. So no, I'm very happy with this one. And then stamp your little bit in the middle. There we go. And they're ready to be cut out, but we won't do that because that takes forever. And you don't need to sit down and watch me do that. So, haha, already done. So, Tangerine, Bashful, and Blossom. And like I said, the leaves are in Juniper. And it's just the sponge. Now, the sponge is only $2. You cut it up into 6 wedges. It's a no-brainer, that one, really, isn't it? You get more for your buck with that one. So I'll bring our box back in. Oh, I've just turned the mat over. I don't like getting adhesive on the wrong side of the mat. Let me just make sure you're in in again. There we are. So now we'll just stick the flowers on. It's almost finished, this little box. So we'll just put on our leaves. Now if you wanted to, and I haven't done it, I've been thinking about it, you could actually stamp the leaves to the front of the box. You know, it's just whatever you want to do. I'll put that one so that the leaf fits up in that corner. And then we'll take some foam dots, and I'll put the big one on first. And he can sit about there. And then I'll just add these two on. Oop. See how when it dries it gets that really glowy look about the middle of it? I just think it's wonderful. This one here I've done in the reverse so you can see it. But I don't mind that they're slightly different. No one's actually going to notice. Only me. So we'll tuck this one in here. And we'll tuck this one in just in under here. There we are. So there's our box for our cards. Now I've got 10 cards and envelopes here. And you can see they are quite bunchy. They're not like they're all flat. They actually have got, what do you call it, embellishments and that on. See how easily that fits into there. Put the lid on, and there you have this gorgeous little box. If you wanted to, like I've done with this one, you could add twine to it to tie it up. This lid here is just a little bit looser, and it gives me the willies when it pops off. But this one here sits really quite well. So, no, I'm very happy with that. So until next time, keep on creating. And bye for now.